You just announce it in the Discord. Yeah, I don't know if you want to open it on in another tab or something.
Yeah, I'm just about to do that.
I'm refreshing your page, but I get the hey guys like 3 times now.
Just announce it in the Discord.
From how I became a full-time music producer.
Yeah, I just got.
Yeah, it auto plays the video. Okay, I'm going to announce it quickly.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, it's live.
Hey.
Okay, so let's just wait for people to start joining.
So what's this first song you have loaded up? Is that just is that yours?
So the first song, Sunk Low.
Yeah, Gravity, right? You have it in Ableton?
Oh, no. That's just for testing the sound. That's a Boris Brecker song.
Is that a test? I've got that written down in my notepad.
I don't think any of us are fit to roast Boris Brecker.
So do you wait for the people to actually be connected to the live stream before giving them feedback, or?
No, I just wait for a few people to join. So right now we have 6 viewers and they're typing in the chat. We've got Jensen, What Up, Bios, and Depka. So I don't know if you guys can see the chat.
Yeah.
Hey
guys.
All right.
And there we've got some donations coming in. Bjorn with the $5. Bjorn, we'll get to your track after Inoa. Okay, so should we start listening to the first song?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's my donation alert.
Matthew McConaughey. Have you read his book? Yeah, he made a biography.
No, I saw it. He was interviewed.
It's really good, man.
Somebody.
Yeah, I listened to it on, I think it was Audible or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he narrates the book himself. It's really good.
Oh,
yeah, you should check it out.
That's just sold it for me. Just listening to that voice.
Yeah, he throws in a couple quotes as well. So that's
nice. Okay, what up, JB, Groovestock, Prash, Callum, Ember, Claus? Happy Friday. Okay, let's get into this track. This is Inoa with Stolen Dream, and we're gonna roast you now. I think you left the whole track in mono because it's, yeah, if you look at the meters, it's hitting straight down the center. Everything is in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I think the kick is hitting a bit too hard, like in the sub. It's punching too hard. And I wish that it wasn't in mono because I feel like it would sound so much better in stereo. But otherwise, I like the melodies and the vocal sounds really nice. And the mix sounds pretty good for mono, I'd say. Other than the kick being like a little bit maybe too long and too loud. I'll just shorten it a bit. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that section. What about you guys? I don't know if he wants to go first, Greg
yes.
or Wes.
Yeah, same here. I'll go first. Same here. It's I'm actually surprised with the quality. It sounds pretty good. I mean, it's hard for me to judge the mix now, so I'll leave you to judge that since I'm on the earbuds. But yeah, it sounds good. I like the melody. It sounds like an actual song, so I figure that's good. I do think maybe the intro it's a bit harsh when it just like goes like really quiet and then all of a sudden just drop straight into
Wall of
into
sound.
a heavy
Yeah.
part, sort of. It could have been a nicer build up. I mean, I don't know if this is the extended mix or like a short version or what he's trying to do here, but I feel like if you want to make a progressive track like this, I prefer when it builds up a little bit instead of having this like heavy drop blasted in your ears out of nowhere. So you could check out arrangement wise, you could work on it a little bit, and maybe like the bass sound. I like it because it's like a heavy saw synth. I like it when those kind of basses are a little bit filtered, so it doesn't sound as harsh as it does right now. But that's just a preference. So yeah, the rest sounds good. Sounds already pretty high level. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Greg?
So yeah, similar comments. Going to echo a lot of what you guys said. The kick definitely hits a bit too hard, and I felt there's a bit of imbalance between the kick and the bass itself, in that the bass line doesn't have much low end, and the kick seems to have it all. But potentially, if this is in mono, that might be a phasing issue. So just something to check in the mix. Like you guys said, nice melody. Feel like it could be a little bit clearer. Maybe some of the lows filtered out of it. So it's a little bit muddy. But other than that, it's a nice sort of full track, feels finished, that just needs some sort of tweaks in the mix. Oh, and actually one other thing, I don't know if we get into the breakdown, if those piano chords repeat themselves. There's the chords at the start, but they're quite, they're a bit robotic. So sort of all the notes are hitting at the same time. And
Yeah,
the
let's hear that
chords
again.
And the velocities, all they don't vary.
Yeah, I guess like a more of a strum kind of.
Yeah, so if you
thing,
can just humanize those chords a bit, if they carry on into the break, that'll really take it up a notch.
Yeah, cool. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, I would say that sub over there, that Reese thing, is just too loud and like in your face.
Needs to be filtered, like Wes said.
Yeah.
And you could almost filter it out then into the break as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite like resonant, and the sound itself is not like groundbreaking, so I don't think it needs to be like the front of the mix and take up everything. I think the vocal's the nicer part, so I would give the limelight to the vocal. Oh wait, sorry, the vocal comes in here. My bad. Yeah, I'd rather give the limelight to the chords even there. Just filter out the bass a bit. Yeah, my thoughts on this is like the composition, the melodies, like the arrangement is all really nice there. But it's just too noisy and crowded, and I guess it's probably partly because it's in mono. In stereo, it probably feels a bit better if you have stuff like panned left and right. But there's like a ton of noise in there, and it's masking a lot, and it's a bit distracting. So yeah, I think we really need to hear this in stereo to be able to give proper feedback. But at least in mono, I would reduce that noise and just try and simplify it a bit. But yeah, over to you guys.
Yeah, I think he needs to smooth out the sounds a little bit. I feel in the breakdown, the transitions aren't very clear. It's just like it goes from one part to another, like that heavy bass just cuts out, then this vocal comes out of nowhere. So I feel like the break needs to be more of a story instead of chopping blocks and dropping blocks, because it feels like the breakdown really feels like we just dropped in a couple blocks. So it needs to be less choppy and more like a smooth transition. I also feel like this track, because it's kind of like a melodic, euphoric kind of vibe, it could really use like a nice pad sound in the break that can really fill out the whole vibe of the song. And yeah, overall in general, like the songwriting is pretty good, and arrangement could use a little work, but yeah, it's already pretty good track. So if he works on it, I think it can actually be something.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got picked up on the same thing with the transitions in the break. They're all nice elements, but you're sort of jumping from one to the other. Even just some sort of effects just to lead into the next element will just help that flow a bit more. And to go back to what Wes said about filtering the bass, so that bass is filtered down a bit, it won't seem as noisy and aggressive in the drop, and that'll actually give that lead more room to breathe, because that lead melody is really nice. I think you kind of actually really want that ruling the track and attracting most of the attention.
Cool. And sorry, I didn't actually like introduce you guys to the stream at the beginning. I just realized this is Wes. Wes is the guy in the middle, and he is the owner of Sekora, and he's also got an artist project called York, which is pretty successful. You can go check him out on Spotify. He's got millions of plays. And then we've got Greg, who's the A&R of Sekora, and he's also Blank Page. And Blank Page is an up-and-coming artist, and he's got releases on Future Sounds of Egypt, Progression, and today's got one out on Sekora, which is really nice. You should check that out. And forgive me if I've forgotten any other labels you've released on, but yeah.
Just gotta plug that Sekora one, Jules. That's all.
Yeah, that's the most important one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's just hear this outro. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about the outro. I think it works.
No, me neither. I think it's the song in general. I think we covered most of it.
Okay, cool. So we've had a bunch of donations come in, so we're going to be going through that list now. Let me just quickly read out the donations. Bjorn with the $5. Happy Friday. Thank you so much. We got Prash with another $5. Cheers for doing this, mate. Thank you so much. And then we've got Depka. Let me just scroll up. With the $10. And he says, don't spare me, so we got to go tough on this guy. And then Beos with the 20 tries, which I think is Turkish money. I don't know how much it is, but thank you so much. No message on that one. Callum Can't Sleep, which is a guy that I've actually been collaborating with recently. He's really good, and he's got a nice voice, and he can produce. With the £2. Thank you, Callum. And then last we've got Julian, another Julian, nice, with $1 donation. Send in one old one of mine on which I would love to hear some feedback. Cool. So let's just start with Bjorn.
Shall we do some of the questions in between, or you want to do that at the end?
Oh yeah, let's just mention that this is also like it's a combined Q&A and feedback session. So if you guys want to ask questions, the link is in the description for Sekora's Discord server, and there's a channel there called Live Stream, and people have been asking questions there. You can go there and ask questions, and we'll answer them. So why don't we do like we'll answer a question between each track? Should we do that?
Yeah, that'd be a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. So let's answer this one first. So the first one's from Ember. When you receive a demo email, what's the listening process like? Do you always listen all the way through, or do you skip extended intros, jump around the track to a climax, and then go back and re-listen if it sounds good enough? So yeah, over to you guys.
Yeah. Shall I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, cool. Let's do it. So for me, how the demo process goes, usually because I'm a producer as well, and I have a lot of experience listening to demos. We get a lot of demos actually, even more lately. So thanks for the shout outs, Julian. I think you've inspired a lot of producers to send in demos. We're always very happy to get demos, and I always love listening to them. Usually within a couple seconds, you can already hear if a track is quality-wise good enough or not. So sometimes you hear tracks and you can just tell like, okay, the producer, the quality is not there yet. And you can already hear that in a couple seconds by listening. Most of the time I listen through a couple of the parts. So I try to do a little bit of the intro to check, okay, what kind of DJ intros is the producer making. Then I skip to like the first breakdown, what is the general vibe of the track. And then of course check on the climax, the drop, see how that progressive. And the things I look for is there some sort of hook or melody that makes the track stand out? And if there's something in the song that catches my attention, then I tend to listen a bit longer. And sometimes if I can tell within, let's say, the first minute or 30 seconds of skipping through a track, if I like the quality, if I like the idea, then I might give it a full listen to decide whether I'm going to sign the track or not. But that's usually like the end stage of deciding of it, if a track is going to be that. So in general, if you want to prepare for a demo, I would just say just make the best possible track before sending it. Don't send in like unfinished work, because you can tell the difference between a track that's been mastered and a track that's not been mastered. You can do a sort of mastering yourself. So try to make it as nice, sounding as nice as possible as you can. And that will definitely increase your chances of getting signed, because people will tend to listen longer to your song. And if someone listens longer to your song, then there's a bigger chance of you getting accepted. That's usually how the listening process goes for me. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same in that you can. I think most people that work for a label or even produce music, you can tell within the first few seconds in terms of the production quality, and then at that point it becomes about the arrangement and the flow of the track and sort of the quality of the composition. I almost always skip in the intro if it's an extended mix, but if it's a short edit, I'll give the intro a bit more of a chance to breathe, because sort of that's what will be first kicking in on Spotify if we were to release the track. So I'll usually pay the intro a bit more attention when it's a short edit, and see if it grabs my ears and if it would grab someone else's who's listening on a streaming service. But yeah, other than that, pretty much the same as Wes.
Cool. Yeah, so somebody in the chat also said we should mix and master and send it, and I would say definitely like present the best
100%.
possible version of your track. Mix it, master it
Yeah,
as well as
it
possible.
doesn't have to be professionally mastered. You don't have to pay someone to master it for you for a demo, because we have in-house mastering. I master everything for Sekora mostly. So you don't have to do that, but just make it sound as nice as possible as you can, and then it just helps increase the chance that it will get listened through. And then in the end, if I think, okay, the mastering can be a step up or something like that, then we take care of the mastering, and that's fine. So you don't have to worry about having it professionally mastered, but just make it sound as good as possible. And I think most of how good a song sounds is already done within the production itself. I think you've said this before as well in a live stream or something, that most of the things you have on your master chain doesn't affect the track too much. It can lift it like the last couple percentage. So most of it is already done in the production side and the mixing. But yeah, definitely try to mix and master it as much as you can.
So you can even, I think I gave one of our submissions just some feedback the other day of just, you don't have to get professionally mastered, but just put if you're mixing at minus 10 dB or minus 6 dB or something, just put a limiter on it at the end of the day before you send it, and just put it up, because when you're going through 10 demos or something like that, and 9 of them are mastered, and then you come onto the 10th and the volume drops down immediately as you listen to it. Just got me diving for the sound card a lot of the time. So it only takes 2 seconds, and you can bring it up so it's relatively in the same volume range as all the other demos. It just helps, and it doesn't take a second.
Yeah, louder is always better, unless it's crushed and sounds really bad.
Yeah,
loud,
but not too loud.
yeah, loud and dynamic. Okay, cool. So there's a bunch more questions in the chat. I've seen them. Yep. We'll answer them, but we can't answer too many, otherwise we'll never get to all these other tracks. So next up is Bjorn. He's the first donation. He's been around for a while in the chat, long-time supporter, and he's had some recent success with some big signings. I'm not going to talk about them yet because I'm not sure if he's announced them, but let's check out his track. Where am I? Wrong channel. There he is. See, he left a message. Something new for today's Feedback Friday. Really just looking for general feedback on this one. Nothing in particular. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks for taking the time. Cool. I'm just going to pause it here and give my thoughts. I think the groove is pretty strong on this. I think the kick is quite boomy. So I think you can probably clean this kick up in 2 ways. First one is I would probably shorten it by, like, so this is your full length of your kick. I would go in and maybe bring it down to like that long-ish. because it's really a really long sub on there. And then you can probably also go in here and just play with the EQ. Maybe bring down that sub a tiny bit. And just a little bit over there, that's what I would do. And then there was also this percussive sound. Where is it? Yeah, so I think some of these percussive sounds, like the thing that goes ch-ch, and the little bongo drum, is maybe a little bit too loud too. But those were just my thoughts for that section. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I agree. The groove is nice. I'll leave all the mixing details to you because you can obviously judge them better than I do at this moment. But yeah, groove is good. So I was getting into it. That was nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so I instantly thought some of those percussion sounds were just a bit too loud, but was going to sort of reserve judgment until it was in the track sort of full flow. But in the intro, they definitely sounded a little bit too in your face. But other than that, it was probably one of those tracks that I would have listened to for a couple of seconds, and then if it's in a demo email, skipped forward because it's sounding pretty good in the intro.
Cool. Sorry, somebody's just on Twitch complaining that there's no Discord link in Discord, and I mean in Twitch, and that's my fault. Let me just quickly create a link. Copy. Yeah, sorry. I'm doing a multi-stream to Twitch and YouTube, and I kind of neglect Twitch a little bit because most of the people are on YouTube. But there it is. Okay, cool. Let's keep listening. Yeah, I really like that big horn stab there. I think it's nicely mixed. And it's nice to go from like this noisy kind of percussive section into this clean, just kick and atmospheric section. And if you guys have anything to say about that, but
agreed. No, I totally agree. Nothing much to say about it, I think.
Cool.
Yep, same.
All right. I think maybe like a bit of automation on that little pluck that's just been happening through there would be good.
Yeah.
Like specifically automation on like the ADSR envelope. So like shorten it and lengthen it and play with the attack and decay and stuff. And maybe like a bit more filtering and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say the same. I also like to use a delay on those kinds of sounds that you can open up like really shortly. So it gives like a weird delay effect that goes more to the sides of your song and makes it sound even wider. And yeah, the release time and etc. You know, it's a very standard trick to use on these kind of sounds. It makes it less static and less boring. So it continues to be interesting to the listener. if you automate that kind of stuff. Also, what I noticed was, like we've talked about, that the percussion was a bit too loud, but you really start to notice it once they come back in. So you're getting into this groove with that block, and then all of a sudden the percussion comes back in, and the percussion sounds very dry. So I feel like maybe what this producer could try is compressing everything into a drum bass group. It sounds like every track is solo, so it's not going to any bus or something like that. What I like to do with drums is send everything to a bus, the drum bus, and then I use something like a glue compressor. It glues all your drums nicely together, and it also catches a little bit of the peaks, so you get less of a harsh sound that you're getting right now in this track. So again, I'm not sure if he's already doing that. I have a feeling he's not. So try doing that. Try grouping all your drum tracks into one drum bus and putting a glue compressor on there. I think it fixes a lot of the issues that we're hearing right now. It makes it sound more solid too. It sounds more of a like a solid drum groove.
Yeah. Nothing from me other than complimenting on the pads. I like the use of the sort of cinematic pads that sort of swell in and out.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think with the like harsh percussion, one of the biggest like aha moments I had when like learning to produce was that is to just put an EQ on stuff and just try like low passing it, because sometimes you'll find like a percussive sound just doesn't feel great in the track, but if you just take out all the high end and you're just getting like the groove from it, sometimes it really helps, more often than not. So just try that on your percussive sounds. Other than like turning them down and putting them through a bus, try just like low passing some of them a bit, even if it's just taking out the stuff above 10K. I've noticed when I've analyzed like a lot of mixes from really well mixed songs, a lot of stuff is just sitting like mostly between 10K and like 400 hertz. Very seldomly stuff is like in this really like hissy, harsh range, even in the hi-hats and stuff. So yeah, I would just try that.
And also a nice plugin that I started using a couple of months ago is Soothe 2.
Yeah, it's really great on hi-hats.
It's really good. It's also good for vocal processing, for bass in general, getting rid of all that noisiness and like muddy low ends. But also for percussive, it's like getting rid of the hiss sounds and everything. It makes everything sound very clean. Like don't overuse it, but on certain elements it can really help. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Right, let's listen from here. Man, those chords are beautiful. I love them.
Yeah.
They're really nice. I was getting Hans Zimmer vibes from them. Felt like I was like something from Interstellar. Really nice. Let's keep going. Yeah, I like that section. I think you have the same problem with the percussion just being, it's like sticking out like it's not a part of the track.
Yeah,
It's super
there is.
dry. But otherwise, yeah, I think
I like the ideas. Yeah.
I think the groove is good, but it's just the percussion's dry, and those horn stabs are fantastic. I like them too. So yeah.
Yeah. I do feel with the breakdown, it's just personal preference, but I really like once you start getting into those chords and they start building up, and then the drum fill, like the snare roll, comes in quite fast, honestly, because it's still like, oh, I'm still in that break, I'm still trying to feel that vibe of the break, and then it builds up quite quickly, and it drops into the climb, or like the sort of, what is it, pre-mini climax thing quite quickly. I feel like if you can build it up a little bit bigger and give it also at the end of the build up a little bit of space to like slow down, so it builds up the tension of the chords, and then let the chords ring out for 1 or 2 seconds, like a little bit, give it a bit of space. And when that beat then kicks in again, it gives it a much bigger punch. And I feel like this little 16 bar loop that's in here, this part, will pop out even more, because it's very like minimalistic. But if it goes from like big chords straight into this part, then it kind of overshadows. And if you let those chords ring out a little bit and give it a little bit of a silence, and maybe like with the plugs with that melody in between, just before the drop, then it just kicks in a little bit harder. And I feel like then it really gives that release of tension that you're looking for. That the tension that the chords have been building up in the breakdown. So give a little bit more space, make the breakdown a little bit longer, like that build up, and introduce some silence in there as well. I think that will work nicely.
Cool. Greg?
All good from my side. Nothing in terms of sort of really critiquing it too much. Just thought it was really nice sound design on the sort of drop section. Really interesting use of sounds that I wasn't expecting, but definitely wasn't unwelcome either.
Cool.
Yeah, true. To be clear though, it's a really good track. I'm just saying that's something you could try. Make it even better.
Yeah, I do think it.
I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's bad as it is right now, but I feel like it could give a different point of view and might help.
Cool. I like that you aren't abusing those horns, because they sound really cool, and usually like producers have this tendency when something sounds cool to just like abuse it, and the novelty wears off and you hear it throughout the entire song. But I'm kind of like looking forward to the next time that horn stab happens. And I'm also like sitting here thinking, how did he make that? And if someone thinks that, and I think you've like nailed the sound, because someone wants to like try and work out how to make a sound, then you're all good. That's when people start making YouTube tutorials, how to make horn stabs like Bjorn. And that's when
true.
That's when you can really like.
That's what you want. Once you start showing up on Bound to Device channel with a tutorial, then you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you guys have anything to say yet?
No, not really. I think we get the general gist of the song. It sounds really good. There's a couple minor things he can work on and maybe improve his song to take it to that like top level that he's probably looking for. But in general, I feel like it's a really good song. Arrangement wise, it's good. What I usually say with this kind of stuff is give it a rest for a couple days, then come back to it with fresh ears, and then you can better judge your own song, taking the feedback that we've given, and yeah, go from there. I think it can be good enough to release on a nice label.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's 99% of the way there, and I think the fact that probably most of the feedback we had was for the intro sort of speaks volumes. You know, it's just very, very minor tweaks.
All right. Yeah, only thing I have to say there really is that little white noise stab thingy is just too loud. By like 6 dB maybe. Like quite a lot. I don't know if you guys have anything to add from that section.
No, not really. I think we covered most of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this whole section just basically felt like a DJ outro after this happened,
Yep.
which
Yep.
I don't have any feedback for. I mean, other than all the percussive stuff we mentioned in the intro, it works. I can imagine this being fine for a nice transition into a new track. So yeah, no real feedback.
Yeah, it's all good. Arrangement is good. So yeah, fix on work on it a little bit, fix those issues, the small ones, and then send over the demo when it's finished.
Cool, nice one.
We'll see from there.
All right. Okay, I think I'm gonna ask people to stop donating now because there's no ways with all the Q&A and stuff that we'll get through all this stuff by the end of the day.
It's going pretty quick already, yeah.
Yeah. So next up we have Prash, but first we're gonna answer a question from Sekora Discord. So the next question is, what are the must-haves before sending music out? Other than just good music, should you have a certain amount of followers or plays? Thanks. I'll let you guys answer that.
You want to start this one, Greg?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it should always just be about the music. I guess if anything, the must-haves would be polite and just send a nice email, introduce yourself, a little bit about the song, and the music's really what speaks to us. So
True.
I don't think you should be worrying about followers or plays or anything. It might help a little bit to be active on social media, but that doesn't mean having a big following. It just means that you're doing stuff and using it. You don't need to have loads of followers, just sort of some sort of profile, because that is the way the world is at the moment. But other than that, yeah, it's 99% music.
True. I would dial it down a little bit. I'd say about 70% is music and 30% is who you are. Of course, the music is the most important thing, but also having worked a lot in the music industry, there's a lot of different kinds of people, and the ones that tend to go furthest, that have the biggest success rate, are the ones that are, first of all, polite. Always be polite when you're just be professional in general when you're emailing. So he's asking the must-haves before sending out music. I mean, if you're just starting out, there's like, you have to start somewhere, right? So with Sekora, we have signed quite amount of artists that just started from scratch. I've built up quite a good amount of artist profiles that had almost 0 streams or followers, and we've gotten them to a very high number already in quite short time. So for me, if the profile makes sense, if you have a proper artist name, like don't do a weird name, make something that suits the music, that suits you. Think a little bit about what kind of artist name that you're using. If you're unsure about what artist name to use, you can just use your real name or use a version of your real name. That's fine. So really think about, what is your brand going to be? Who are you as an artist? What is your artist profile like? Because this is what I do look at. So when someone sends us a demo, of course, first I'm going to listen to the music. Is the music good? Then I'm going to check out their profiles. Are they active on social media? Do they have nice pictures of themselves? It's very easy to just find a friend to take some press photos and make sure that you look professional as an artist and you look like someone that can actually make it, just copy what like famous artists are doing, copy their poses or whatever. Like, make sure your profile looks decent, because it does affect if you're going to get signed or not. And then besides that, yeah, I think when you're sending demos, I prefer to get SoundCloud links, just private SoundCloud links, or a Dropbox link is also fine. Make sure when you're sending out a demo to make it as easy as possible for an A&R to listen, because if you have to go through all links, and if you, for example, if someone sends me a file in the email,
no attachments.
No attachments. Don't do that. Just make links, make it easy accessible, and make sure your link doesn't get expired. Or when you send a SoundCloud, like a demo with a SoundCloud link, make sure you don't remove the track. And if you have an updated version of the track, just update it in SoundCloud itself. So the same link applies, that when we do listen, we don't listen to demos the same day we receive them. We usually have like set days in the week that we go through the demos, we check them all. If you delete your track before that demo gets listened to, sometimes we ask you like, hey, your link isn't working. Other times we might not listen to it at all. So make it as easy as possible and accessible as possible. And then, of course, if you already have some success on a different label, you already have some streams, you already have some followers, that's a big plus. I mean, it shows that the tendency what artists these days seem to have is that they get very lazy when it comes to music promotion. They think, oh, if I sign my track to a label, the label will take care of everything. This is not how it works. You notice also that the bigger labels, for example, Spinning Records or maybe Anjuna Deep, that's like the holy grail, right, for the guys listening to Bound to Divide's channel. Those guys are looking for big profiles. They want to have a profile that's already proven. They want to have an artist that has already proven himself. So if you're just starting out, and even if your music is amazing, there's this very small chance that either like a Spinning Records or an Anjuna Deep is gonna sign your music, because they want to see how this artist develops. So they might have you on their radar, they might check you out and see how everything is going, but then they're probably looking, you probably might want to look at a label that picks up beginning artists as well. So that's what we do with Sekora. I'm not gonna judge anyone for having a big following or not, but I do look at like how much effort do you put in your own promotion? How badly do you want to make this work? Are you just a hobbyist in your mom's bedroom, or in your bedroom, or in your mom's attic or basement, making tunes and then sending out a track and then hoping it gets signed? Or are you actually going out there and wanting to get your dreams fulfilled? Like, are you making mixtapes? Are you reaching out to other producers? Are you chatting to other producers in Discord groups like ours or Bound to Divide's channel? Like the guys, everyone that's listening right now, you're already putting in that extra 10-20% to make it work. So it's a show of dedication to have everything in check. That means your profiles, everything you do around your brand, and really look at your artist profile as a brand that you're trying to sell. You're building a company and you're trying to sell that or pitch it to a label, and hopefully then your music is good enough, which takes you 70 or 80% of the way. But that other 20% can definitely make a big difference if you're going to get signed or not, because it's hard to work with an artist that has no following, has no social presence or anything, and just has a good track. And I'm like, okay, I have a good track. What else am I trying to sell here? You know, you want to give a label like us as much material to work with. For example, the last EP that we had from Bound to Divide, we can pitch it to our DJ network from friends that I know, for example, that have big radio shows or DJ around the world. We send their music. It's like, yeah, Bound to Divide has a YouTube channel. He has a good following. He's really dedicated to making it work as an artist. Plus, his music is amazing, which is the leading, of course. But it does help that he can offer something in value in return, and people will take him seriously as an artist. Same goes for Greg here, and same goes for myself. So if you look at all the artists that we've signed, whether it be in the beginning or now, yes, we've built up their momentum through monthly streams and streams in general, but they also had something about them where they build their own profile, their own brand. And this is something that I do look for. And it's very easy to do, but it shows dedication. And if you can present that dedication when you're pitching your music, there's a bigger chance to getting signed, and that's just the truth. So that's my rant.
One massive no. Don't just send an empty email with a link in, which we get quite a lot.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You get one chance to do that, and normally I reply with a load of text back to try and set an example of how to.
True. I don't listen to those. I don't listen to those. So Greg listens to most of the demos. I just listen to the ones Greg has listened to before, or sometimes I go over to the demo folder myself and check out tracks. If someone sends an email with just a link or just like hi, link, no, it gets deleted because it already shows a character. And I'm being very honest. If you don't take the effort to set up a proper email with like just one paragraph, like really short, hi Team Sekora or hi Wes or hi Greg. I mean, it doesn't take much effort to find out what our names are. And then just a short paragraph. I'm a blah, blah, 20-year-old producer from blah, blah, blah. I've released on this and this label, or if you haven't released, I've been producing for 5 or 6 years. I'm building a brand. This is what my brand is about. This is my track. I hope you like it. And then 100% I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah, simple, easy stuff.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like important when people send demos, in their heads, they know who they are as people. But if there's no like, you don't show the internet like through Instagram or whatever, who you are, what you look like, what your voice sounds like, then there's no personal connection. And I think the more personal connection you have, the better. So that's why I think it's important to have some sort of like just show what you look like and what you sound like, so that people can feel like they're connecting with an actual human and not just a link. Like you never know who you're talking to. To us, like if someone sends me a link, this even happens to me on Instagram. People send me links. They just respond to like a story of me that I put out, and they just respond with like a link, the SoundCloud link, with no hi, nothing. Like, why must I open that link? It's so rude to just do that. It's like
you wouldn't do that in real life.
It's like walking into a bar and just like grabbing a girl's ass. You know, it's like it's rude.
Yeah, that's a nice comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to say
Yeah,
hi
if you want
first
to get
and like
ignored, and
make her laugh
yeah,
at least.
you got to warm them up a little bit, you know, so they
Yeah.
get into the groove. Same goes with us A&Rs, you know, you got to, you know, warm us up a little bit, be
Yeah.
nice,
Take you out for dinner.
then we'll listen.
So,
Yeah, and then we'll listen to your track.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we are going to
Thanks
go
for
on to the next submission, which is Prash. And just find him. Just downloading the track. I think the bass is quite loud and resonant, so I would turn that down. I think the rest is okay. Like the sounds themselves are not like making me wonder how you made this bass. So it just feels like a really plain like saw wave. It feels really simple. So I don't know, maybe just try using some like chorus and phaser or something just to make the bass a bit more interesting, because through that intro, there's nothing else really happening other than that bass and the drums. So I would just try and spice the sound design up a bit to kind of impress people a little bit more. And then when it drops over here, this like new melody just comes out of nowhere. Like I wasn't expecting it, and it doesn't feel good when it comes in. So I would just remove that melody or try and introduce it earlier, so that we kind of the brain is kind of expecting it to come back in the track at some point. That doom 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 doom. So yeah, I would probably introduce that a bit earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree on that. When it comes to the bass, I like it because it's groovy. For me personally, it doesn't have to be super fancy bass as long as it does what it has to do. So for me, that's fine. Take it down a little bit. But some of the elements that are introduced, like after 1 minute or so into the song, like it's very empty in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, three elements get introduced at the same time. So like the
Yeah.
vocal gets introduced, some ARP kind of thingy, and then some pad, I believe, in the background. It's all at the same time. So like bring those a bit more forward. You can keep the vocal at the same time, but maybe bring in that like little RP plucky kind of effect sound, bring it a bit forward so it gets introduced a bit earlier. Maybe the pad a little bit earlier, so then everything smooths out a little bit. And like Jules said, introduce that main melody that you're using in the drop. Introduce it a little bit earlier, so you're already expecting it to come back at some point. You're teasing a little bit, then it makes more sense to have a drop like this. But right now, it comes out of nowhere. So I do like it. It's sketchy. It just arrangement wise needs to be reworked a little bit.
Yeah, Crash is going to get a clean sweep of feedback here because exactly the same from me. I think we're all saying the sort of first 16 bars feels very empty, and then we've got a lot coming in at once. So it's really easy to fix both those problems by just bringing some stuff forward and even filtering it in and just tease those elements. Like you said, Jules, it's massively psychological thing. Just get the brain to know that there's something else coming in, and when that new sound does drop in, it doesn't feel like it's out of nowhere.
Yeah, make it familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, don't really have much feedback through this. It was flowing nicely. I didn't feel like bored through it. The
Yep.
melody isn't like giving me the chills, but there's nothing like technically wrong with it, I don't think, or like musically wrong with it.
It sounds to me like it's tried to get the melody to sort of almost feel the same, follow the same pattern as the bass line, but then varying up the notes. But I just don't think it's hitting quite the right notes. So I think just spend a bit more time on perfecting that melody and how it complements the bass, and that'll probably take that section up a notch.
Maybe
Yeah.
try a different version of a melody. Work a bit. What you can also do is, for example, in every 8 bars or something like that, make like a little counter melody. So it goes like dun 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 dun, dun, and then it just keeps repeating. And then maybe in the background you can make like ding ding ding, like something with a different rhythm with the different notes, but something that counters the main melody, so it catches your ear. Because right now it's very static and it goes throughout the entire climax, it just stays the same. Like have something, maybe like a long synth, like a pad sound that goes in, that changes notes in the background, or have something of a counter melody, like a little riff. You'll notice like all the big melodic house producers, once you really start digging into their music and they have a song like this that's basically kind of static, what they do these kind of tricks in between. So like the Yotto, Ben Böhmer, and also Nora and Pure, they have all these like little riffs and bells and whistles in the background that catch your ear, like really short. It might even be like 3 or 4 notes, like a counter melody to the main melody. But that's the kind of thing that keeps a song interesting. And if you just keep repeating, if they didn't have that in their music, then it wouldn't be as interesting as it is. So try to look into that. Otherwise, the song is good. Just the main thing is there. But now I think it's time to take it, to the next level is by including like these little small like sounds that are in the background that really fill out the spectrum and that really catch your ear, like a little riff or something.
Yeah, I have a good example
Devil's
of
in the
that.
detail.
Actually, I have
Yeah.
a good example of that in this Aura song. I know this song like the back of my hand because I remade it. But he has this like a little sine wave pluck that plays every, 8 bars, 16 bars. It just goes bing, bong, bong. I think you'll hear it here. Well, you could hear it in the beginning here, that ding, dong, ding, and that's like pretty much exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And then while that melody's playing, I don't know. It's somewhere there. Maybe I don't know it
It's
like the
all
back
these
of my
little,
hand.
like these small, yeah, it's all these small little things in
Yeah.
the background. You really have to like zoom in to the song and listen to it carefully. And then you'll start noticing. And I do the same thing with my music. I do like a little pluck sound or like a little like 3-note riff.
Yeah.
Then put a lot of delay on it and let it fade out a little bit in the background. It really fills out the spectrum and makes everything super wide. And normally if you listen to a song, you're just chilling, just listening to it. You don't even notice these kind of things. And non-producers don't notice it at all. It's only the producers that really can listen to it. If I show these kind of tracks to my family or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I really like that little sound that's happening right there.
They're like,
And they're
what
like,
sound?
what sound?
Yeah.
Huh? What do you mean? Yeah,
You have to
so it's
like
only the producer
show them
that
a
can
million
hear.
times and slow it down for them to actually notice it. But if you took it
Exactly,
out,
yeah.
they might go, I don't
Yeah.
know, the song's a bit boring.
Yeah, but unconsciously they do hear it, and it what happens is because your ear hears a different kind of sound, then all of a sudden the sound, like the melody that you've been listening to for 3 minutes becomes interesting again. Otherwise, it would just become boring because you're hearing the same melody over and over again. But then because you get distracted by some other sound, then the main sound is already just like, oh yeah, actually I remember I like this sound.
Yeah.
It's weird
Yeah.
how it works, but that's I think that's the trick.
Yeah, this is another example that just popped into my head, undercurrents. So now you're getting used to this like sine wave melody. And then he's got like that little effect there that kind of breaks it up a little bit. And then so that's exactly what you're talking about, like this little fill over here.
Yep.
And it adds so much to the track. I think without it, it would just like, it'd just start getting boring to just hear that same thing happen over and over again.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't remember exactly where we were in this track. I think around here.
Somewhere near the breakdown, I think. I think we heard the main climax.
Also, another thing I want to mention is I know a lot of A&Rs are also producers, and they have all the same sample packs as we do. And there's probably vocals that people will remember. And I'm guilty of using like sample pack vocals in tracks, but I generally try to like change them. I know I've just put out 2 tracks on Sekora where I didn't actually change them, but generally I'll try at least to like reverse them or process them differently, because like I've heard this I Know sample a million times from my library, and so when I hear it in this track, it doesn't feel like the track is very unique to me. And I know that I've heard some A&R say the same thing. So just be careful, like try your best to make it sound unique.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree? Cool. Yeah, this section feels nice, like compositionally and arrangement-wise. It feels good to me. I'm quite enjoying it. I just think the problem is really in the mix down. The sub is just too loud. I'll just turn down that sub really. But otherwise, I think it's good so far. You guys have anything to add?
No, it's good. It's actually arrangement-wise, it's all yeah. It's just the details. I think to take it to the top level, you know. But we've already covered that.
I think we've got that new synth that's playing the same sort of melody. You could even take snippets of that and put that in the earlier drop section, and that will sort of give you that slight variation in the earlier section and tease this new melody at the same time. Only sort of the odd 2 or 3 notes, and you might sort of tick off that box and just give you a bit more variation. And that would be without needing to introduce a whole new sound as well.
Cool. That little bass stab, I would add like a nice long like played reverb to it to just let the tail like really ring out. Because it sounds nice, but it sounds really dry how it just suddenly cuts off. It's also quite mono, so maybe try to spread it, but I think the reverb will help with that too. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add other than what we've said. Sounds like we're going into an outro now, so do you guys have anything to add?
No, it's good. Arrangement-wise, it's fine. Like the ideas are there. Just need some extra details, I think. And like you said, also with effects, it's just focusing in on the details now, and listening to other songs and getting ideas of how do they make it interesting. And I think once you start implementing those little details in the background, you'll notice that even though the song is basically the same, it will take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's the final. Just getting that final 10%. Yeah, it's almost there. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Andrew just commented, can someone please explain to me the submission process on Discord? I tried uploading a track a while ago and kept saying I needed to give feedback on previous songs. Andrew, that's because you uploaded it to the wrong channel. You're uploading it to channel feedback, but you need to scroll up and add it to feedback live stream. It won't give you that message if you do that. So yeah, let's just... I don't think I really need to listen to that outro. It sounds like just like a DJ outro. I'm going to try and move things on a little bit quicker from now on because we've got still a lot of questions and tracks to get through.
Yeah, I think we need to speed up the feedback process a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got another question here from Amber. Who does / how do you decide on the artwork? So I guess he's asking who does the artwork and how do you make the decision what it's going to look like, the aesthetic of it?
Yeah. So with the Sekora artworks, we try to have a theme of revolving around circles because we have the circle in the logo, and we came to the conclusion that having first of all, it's Mark made who makes our covers. He does the designing work. He's also in the Discord channel and Sekora team. And we at some point we made something where it revolves around a sort of a sun, and the sun is always on the artworks, or most of the artworks. It has something like that. So there's like a nature theme related to it, because that's the whole point of Sekora. It's related to nature and of like a free spirited kind of music. And then we have the sun, which is always it's always present in a different. It can either be like a moon or a sun, or however you want to interpret it. It's like a circle color difference. It's different every cover, every artwork, and yeah, that's kind of how the artworks go. There's nothing much to it. We might be looking into adding the logo to the artwork. We're still working out a way to incorporate it in a nice way.
Do you leave the whole creative idea up to the artist then? Or do you like say, oh, we want certain colors or anything?
Well, most of the time we give artists 2 options to choose from. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just give 1 option. We do always send it to the artist, and most of the time they like it. And if they don't like it, we remake something. But there's a whole process that I went, because I used to make the artworks myself until Marks joined the team about a year ago. And we had a whole process of going through how to make the artworks. So I really, I think if you ask Marks, I was a pain in his ass for quite a time before he really got to the point where he started to really see the whole vision I had for the label. And now most of the time when he makes an artwork, it's already good. But in the beginning, we had a lot of remakes, and I really had to like hammer down the importance of having the song connected to the artwork and the kind of sort of emotion that it speaks for. So if we have a song that's a bit more summer Ibiza vibe, like uplifting kind of vibe, then I obviously want something that is more summer related. So a good example would be, for example, Nick Alaviso's Better Days. It's a bit of a summer feel track, and it has brighter colors. It's more around based around the summer, so you really see that in the artwork. And then when you take, for example, your EP, it's a bit more melodic house, a little bit darker, but still also euphoric. And then you can also see that in the cover. So I always tell Marks before he starts making covers, I always tell him to listen to the song, like really listen to the song, get into the vibe of the song, and then start making the artwork, so it really represents what the song is about. I think that's important when making artworks. We do put in some thought about it. So.
Cool. All right.
I also want to mention, by the way, when it comes to the questions, it's really cool to get questions about how to submit your demo and artwork and about Sekora. But I also want to tell you that I have a background in the business side as well. So if you have any questions about music business or music business in general, or how things work behind the scenes, fire away. It's you don't have to limit it to just a label or just us. You can also ask how the copyrights work and that kind of stuff, if you're interested, of course.
Oh God. There goes my door.
At least we can see all your projects on the desktop.
Yeah. Orcs Must Die is the latest one. Okay, so next up is Depka, and he doesn't want us to hold back on this one. So I think in order to speed this up, maybe what we should do is just listen through the entire track and then give our thoughts. Otherwise, people are not going to get their tracks listened to.
Yeah, but like maybe skip a little bit through the intro. So if it's a DJ intro.
Yeah, I'll do that too. Okay, so this is like an example of where you should have just put a limiter on the track to get it as loud as the other ones. Because like if you sent this to an A&R and they've listened to 15 other tracks that day, and this one's quieter than everything, like psychologically, it's just going to sound worse already right from the get-go, even though they know that they need to turn it up.
Yeah. Or when you turn up the volume and then you listen to this song, and then all of a sudden someone sends you a WhatsApp on the desktop, and you get a heart attack from the sound, from the notification bell. So, yeah. Don't try to kill us, okay? Just pump up your volume a little bit when you're exporting.
Yeah. Okay. I'll play from here. Okay, so I think we got the idea of this track. My feedback is that I think I mean, most of the sounds are good. The drum choices are nice. I think the hats could be a little louder and a bit more. You could just have like more interesting hat grooves and loops and stuff happening there. They feel kind of basic. The vocal feels, and this is all just mixed feedback initially, the vocal feels very centered. Like I would spread it out with like reverb and maybe just make it feel a bit more stereo. But then like subjectively, my feeling towards the song is that it's nice. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, it's not, there was no moment in there that I'm like, the hairs on my arms are standing up and I want to go back and listen again. It's kind of just, I don't know, a mediocre idea. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing great with it. It's a kind of track that you would listen to and then kind of just forget about it and not really come back to it, at least for me. But yeah, I think you need to make that main melody more compelling, or just figure out a new melody, and maybe some more like additional like harmonic stuff, pads and stuff that just harmonize nicely with the melody and just create these interesting moments that kind of inject emotion into the track, because it's kind of just feels like the same kind of emotion through the whole track. And then shout out to the arcade vocals. Okay, go for it, Wes.
Yeah, I had the same thing. It doesn't really, like I'm not really inclined to listen to it again. So what it's missing, what I felt like in beginning, first of all, like the first 2.5 minutes, it sounds like one long intro.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a distinguished, okay, I have 1 minute intro and then another like 1.5 minute is more, that's like the climax kind of thing where you really get into the idea. I do like that this song has a general sort of Prida kind of feeling. So like the sounds used is really, really on point, really stuff I do like. What I was kind of hearing in my own head when I listened to the song around 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30, you had this main melody that's the whole idea of the song. And I was picturing around 2 minutes for some like ARP to come in, to like take it away, to take it to a higher level, to take that progression of the track further. And then I was kind of disappointed that new element or new ARP or new idea didn't come in. So I really feel like having an ARP or something like that could really help in this song. And there's another part, yeah, just in general, it feels a bit static. Everything repeats itself, and like Jules said, it doesn't really invite you to listen again. So the kind of advice I've had this advice given to me by producer Christian Hurt. He told this to me years ago when he was giving me feedback on my tracks, and he said every time I make a song or listen to a breakdown of a song, I'm picturing in my head, okay, I'm at a festival and I'm listening to this song, and how do I make the people keep listening to the song? So the breakdown is to give a little bit of a rest in your song, but you're still telling a story. And what you're trying to do is the people are just walking around, dancing around, and what makes them stay and listen to your song instead of going and getting a drink or just like cutting out of your song in general. You want to have something that keeps people's attention and they wanting to hear more of the song. So the whole point of the breakdown is you're inviting the listener to stick around, because if they keep listening to your breakdown, eventually it will pay off with when the climax comes. So this is the kind of idea that you want to make your music with. You want to keep it interesting. It doesn't have to be over, like you don't have to overdo it. Just build on the tension, have something interesting, and then maybe also include a hook. What I like to do, for example, to have people listening to my music again, most of the time in my breakdowns or the beginning of a breakdown, there's a really small part of the song that's unique to that song and to that part only. So it can be only like 15 seconds or something like that, and it's unique in the song. And that means if you've heard that part and you really liked it and it stuck out, like it had some connection to you, and you keep listening to the song, you will never hear that sound again. But what makes it happen, what happens then is that people want to listen to that song again. And if they want to hear that sound again, they need to listen to the song again. And this is what creates repetibility for listening to over and over again to a certain song. And you might not even know why you're listening to that song again or why it stuck out so much, but it's just that little hook that, that's unique, that makes you want to listen again. And that's what this song is really missing. So those kind of things, if you incorporate that into your music, I 100% agree, 100% know that it's going to be a lot better and a lot more interesting to listen to.
Yeah, so pretty similar feedback from me. Sort of the first 2.5 minutes sound like one sort of long block before the track really develops on the breakdown when that new lead comes in. So I think that lead needs to be introduced earlier. In terms of keeping things moving, just simple automation and a filter on that main lead, that's going to be your friend. You don't have to bring that lead in straight away with all the frequencies. You can have it filtered down so it's just in the background, and then slowly open that up as the track progresses back down to the start of the breakdown, and then back up, filter back open as you go through the breakdown. And that alone will make the track feel like it's developing much more. Like the guy said, it's a solid idea. It's a nice track, but it just needs that work to give it like something special to make you keep coming back.
Cool. All right. Next question is, how long should a demo submission be? Would you recommend a section of an individual song or a small demo EP submission for you to get a feel for the artist? And would you recommend a submission being professionally mixed, mastered prior to sending? Guys, I just need to go to the toilet quickly. I'll let you start answering the question though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so how long a demo submission? I recommend just making the best version that you see fit. Personally, what I always do is I make my songs, the original mix is always an extended version, like the longest possible version. And from there you can just cut out the intro and outro, and you probably have a short version already. So I would recommend just making the song as you see fit, as you think, okay, this will get picked up, then you're probably good. And when it comes to mixing and mastering, it doesn't have to be done professionally. We've covered this before. Just do it to your best abilities. Make sure it sounds as good as possible, and you don't have to spend your money on mixing and mastering before sending a demo. Just do it in-house, do it yourself, and do it as well as you can, because it does help, of course, because it sounds nicer. But it's not, you don't have to have it professionally mixed or mastered, so don't worry about that. And an individual song or a small demo EP, it really depends. I always recommend looking at the label that you're sending to. So if you're sending it to Sekora, you want to have something that resembles the kind of music that we release or the kind of music that we're looking for. So just as a heads up, we don't only look for melodic house, we also look for house and deep house and a bit more uplifting stuff. So don't hesitate to send that in either. But let's say you want to send in a melodic track. The thing is, with Sekora, we tend to send a bit more melodic house. We sign more melodic house type songs instead of like really deep progressive songs. So if you want to get a chance with Sekora, you might want to look at your portfolio of the songs you made. Let's say you made 3 tracks. You made a melodic house track. You made it like a melodic techno track, and you made like a very deep progressive track. Then I would probably, if the melodic house is actually like a really good song, you're really confident in that, I would probably send in that one first. And if it sounds good, if the quality is good, and we think, okay, this might actually be worth a shot, then we have 2 options. Either we're going to tell you, okay, this song is good, we want to hear more, and we might want to sign this song. That's obviously the perfect answer you can get, right? That we want to sign it. And let's say second case, that we're not really sold on the song, and then in that case, we will probably ask you to send over more tracks. If you send like an EP or you send in multiple tracks that are unrelated, let's say if it's an actual EP and they're related and you want to sign it as an EP, then it makes sense. But if it's unrelated songs and you're sending like 3 tracks at the same time, unless they're all like really, really good, I would probably just start out with your best song and then and go from there. Because if your music is good, we're gonna ask you to send in more tracks anyway. But you don't want to overwhelm someone by sending in a lot of songs like from the start. Just pick your best ones and the most suitable ones and send that to the label of your choice.
Yeah, just a couple of things I had to pick up on from that question. It was the Birch's question, wasn't it? Says, would you recommend a section of an individual song? No, don't do that. Just send the whole song. And secondly, it's useful in this day and age to have a extended mix and a short edit for streaming. If you're making dance music especially, you're going to want one for streaming and an extended mix that DJs can use. So if you sent one into Sekora and we decided to sign it, inevitably we're going to ask you for both mixes anyway. So it's just worth starting off with both, and you can send both in. So we've got an idea of how they'd sound in a DJ set and also how they'd sound on a streaming service.
Cool. All right. Next up is Beos, and let's check out his track. Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure where Wes just went. I didn't see him leave. I don't know if he answered the phone or something. But like my overall feeling of the track.
I'm here. I listened to it. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so my overall feeling of the track is it's nice. I like the vocal and the bass sounds good. I think the drums were nice. The beginning was a bit weird, how it's like you had this noisy kind of drum loop and then just suddenly switches into this clean bit over here. It felt like two different loops just quickly going into each other, like there's no real like transition or relation between them. I think the sub is a bit too loud. Yeah, I think the rest is kind of okay. And then my like feeling about the song, like, is it good or not? Again, it's like I don't think I'd come back for a second listen on this. I think the vocal's really nice, but the melody, like the main ARP, well, there's nothing like really wrong with it. And the sound design is nice. I'm kind of just not paying attention to it because it's not really compelling. My brain is kind of just pushing it to the side, and I'm just focusing on the vocal. So that just tells me like, one, you've got like two main elements here. You've got this harp and you've got the vocal that's just kind of repeating, and it's basically like having two motifs playing at the same time. It doesn't really work because the ear is going to choose to listen to one of them. We can't focus on both. So I would either try and make that lead more compelling and then space out the vocal to happen less often, or bring up the vocal to the front of the mix and kind of make the harp a bit more of a background sound. But I would still try and improve it a bit and make it a bit more compelling, because it's just not really like driving emotion for me. So yeah, that's pretty much my feedback.
Greg, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go. So it all, like Jules said in the intro, that definitely needs to be looked at. It just sort of sort of jumps into like a big part of the track. You can extend that intro, have things sort of flow in a bit more and just progress nicely, rather than sort of chuck the listener into the main section. The lead sort of art, I put a filter on that and just automate that, because it feels like it's pretty much open for majority of the track. So I just automate that just to add a bit of interest. And again, it's something I pick up on quite a lot, is just try and humanize the piano chords as well. So they're nice because they're not just dun, dun, dun. They're sort of an interesting pattern, but it's changing the velocities and even having some keys hitting at slightly different times. So it feels like it's someone on the piano and not just some MIDI sort of chucked down onto a VST. But yeah, other than that, it's a nice track. Just a few easy ways to sort of take it up another level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you guys said. I like the vibe of the song. This is actually the kind of style that we are looking for. So yeah, I mean, it's an idea that could have worked. I just feel like it just misses that last 10% maybe. Smooth out the transitions a little bit, and also the thing I just talked about making a song interesting, you know, like including hooks, maybe like little riffs or little earworms that you know that stick out, that make you want to come back to a song and really think about, okay, how is a listener going to listen to this song? Like, what is the idea behind it? Instead of just making something, actually put in some thought about, okay, how does a song progress? Why does it progress the way it does? And take some example from professional songs that you like. Just compare them, like what and when do they change in their song, and how can I basically copy that from someone else? I think that will, because the ideas are there. It doesn't sound bad or anything. I just feel like it needs a little bit of work, and I think you can let yourself be inspired a little bit by other producers, and to take your production skills to the next level. And I think yeah, if you just keep on working on it and get more experience, then you can definitely start making some professional music and release it. And then we'd love to listen to it.
Cool. Okay, next question is, what's the biggest difference in a track that is close to being good enough to sign versus one that you know is good enough? Is it mixing wise, originality, etc.? Cheers.
All of the above.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go first, Craig.
Yeah, so I wasn't joking. It's a bit of everything. I think that something that we've been talking about a lot all afternoon is those minor details that often take things to the next level, and that can be the difference. So if you've got a track that's got a nice vibe, nice composition. The mixed quality is good, but it doesn't have those little details, those little special effects and things that catch your ear. That might be the difference. Again, if you've got a track that's got that and it's a really bad mix, then that's probably going to be a no as well, unless we can feel like we can really try and work with you to get the mix up to scratch. So it's a combination of everything, and all of that just comes with time and practicing your craft and listening to the other guys that you like and respect. Try and deconstruct those tracks. It's a massive thing. Those professional tracks that you like, you got to really delve in and find out what makes them special, and try and integrate that into your own work.
Yeah, I think as Greg is completely right what you just said, but I think one can live without the other and the other one can't. In terms of originality and creativity, that's the most important thing. So you need to have a sense of how things have to sound. And that is something that comes with experience, and it's also musical taste. So don't only listen to one genre, don't only listen to one artist, because then you're just going to copy that artist and you're going to be a copycat. It's something you don't want. You want to be inspired by different kinds of, take ideas from different elements or different genres and different artists and whatnot. And I think if you have a general sense of how you want things to sound, and you just keep grinding away and learning and like always improving, then eventually once the ideas start to flow and the creativity starts to flow and or originality, and you get a sense of the kind of music that you want to create, and you create something that's your own, then the mixing part will most of the time will come by itself. So you can have a really good idea and it's not mixed or mastered properly, that can easily be fixed by someone else. But if you are like a very high quality, high end producer, and you can mix really well and you can master really well, that doesn't really make you a producer in my eyes. That makes you an audio engineer. So you can be a good audio engineer and not be a good producer. And I'd rather be a more creative person that actually is a good producer than just an audio engineer. I happen to be sort of both because I do everything myself. But I think the creative part is more important. And I also think once you're at that level where you start to understand how the details in the track work and all the things that we talked about previously, if you can implement those details, you can hear those details, and you know which sound has to go where. Like you analyze the spectrum, for example. I need more sounds in the mid-range, or maybe a melody in the higher frequencies, and you're filling out that spectrum. Once you start to understand those kinds of concepts, you're already at the level where mixing is probably common sense to you anyway.
Yeah.
So I would focus on the details of a song, analyze someone else's song. Don't let it be a guide to how you have to make your music, because you want to stand out from them eventually. But it's a good way to learn how this kind of music is made. And once you have that thing handled, the mixing will probably come by itself, because once you start to understand how something has to sound, you automatically adjust the levels and you automatically know where to cut certain frequencies and everything. And of course, tutorials help. I think the videos that Jules is making are very high quality. So if you can, you can keep up with him on how he makes his sounds, or like the breakdown videos, etc. And the rest is just making ideas and coming up with stuff yourself and getting that creative flow going. And then most of it will just come with experience. So don't focus too much on the mixing or having to sound perfect or anything. Like some of my older songs, one of my most successful songs is not mixed the best way, to be honest. It could have sounded better, but it's still a success because it's a catchy song. So don't focus too much on the production side. Like that stuff comes by itself if you practice enough. I'd focus more on the creative side.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that 100%. Like if I was listening to songs and signing them, I would just be looking for those tracks where like I've listened to tracks all day, and at the end of the day I come home and relax on the sofa, and there's that one track that I heard earlier that day that I just feel like listening to again, and I put it on and I enjoy it. I think that would be like the immediate telltale of a signable track. Not something that you like, oh, have to listen to this again.
How many demos do we have left? Because I'm running a bit short on time here.
We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What time do you need to go?
I'd say about 15 minutes. So we
15
have
minutes.
to go through them a little bit faster.
Okay, cool.
I think we've already covered all the questions on the Discord.
Okay, so I'm gonna just.
Yeah.
Sorry to everybody who I'm about to do this to, but I'm gonna like start skipping through sections and just trying to get the general idea for the song so that everybody gets a fair chance at listening, at getting their tracks listened to. Okay, so this is Callum Can't Sleep, and let's check out his tune.
Could you stop it real quick?
Yeah.
So, like this, the thing I just said, right, about the whole making it interesting and thinking about, okay, what is going to happen? So he already got that moment. And I just want to point out, like about 10 seconds ago, that's the part where you might want to introduce a plug that goes like ping, 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 and then with a lot of reverb, that really gives it like this epic feeling. And he already included like an effect sound about, let's say 4 or 5 seconds ago that has something similar. I think if you want to take this, because it's a very like euphoric and epic kind of track, if you want to take it to that, you know, to that festival main stage kind of idea, right? Then having something like that, like a short riff, about 15 seconds before where we are right now. I think if he edits that with like nice high plugs, like for example Ben Burmer does a lot, then you could take it to. I just wanted to jump it in because otherwise I might lose this train of thought. But let's continue. So write that down. I think if he edit that, something like that, it would really stick out. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, yeah, I think we got the idea there. my feedback is like, yeah, the mixing and everything sounds good. Don't really have much mixed feedback. Maybe sub is a little bit rumbly. Bring it down like 2 or 3 dB. But like subjectively, I think the ARP is like really nice and gives me good emotions. Really nice, like just sit here and groove kind of tune. I really like how you've brought in this like little stab that just hits like twice during the, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like through here. I actually don't know where it is now. But anyway, it just goes like jing, jing. I feel like that just adds like a whole nother dimension to it. And there's like all these little like nuances in the actual ARP. Like you've laid it with this like little bell thing that sometimes you notice it and sometimes you don't. And I love listening to tunes where it's just like you constantly picking up new things and being distracted by other little things, but in a good way. It's not like it's cluttered. It's my attention's being gracefully drawn to different elements that I'm enjoying. So yeah, I think it's a nice tune. Like personally, I would probably come back for a second listen on this one. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, same goes for me. Melody's nice, ARP is nice. The vocal's very nice, very subtle. It suits the track. It's not just some randomly picked splice vocal and dropped in a
That's
track.
his voice, by the way.
Just to have a vocal. Yeah, no, okay, that's even better. But
Yeah.
what I mean is that sometimes you hear like, okay, people, they want to add a vocal and they just drop in a random vocal, you know. And this is you can hear that it really fits the song. So, and if you can sing it yourself, that's even better, because then you know it's unique. Not saying that a splice vocal is bad per se, but it needs to fit the song, you know. And that's why I like the vocal here, that it actually fits the song. And then yeah, like I said in the break, I was really feeling like, okay, like a plucky sound with a lot of reverb, like a really big pluck that is like, but subtle. It's not overwhelming, but subtle. And then it's like create a melody. I think if you were to pick this track, start from the break, and then just take a synth and just start playing away, just smashing some random notes and coming up with some riffs, like a unique melody throughout the breakdown, with of course some repetition, but not super repetitive, like making a melody that's like 16 bars long maybe. That could really take this song to a high level. I can really picture myself with this song, that you have like a super unique, and that it can probably stay in the breakdown, and then you'd have that hook part that's unique to the breakdown, and then doesn't come back anywhere else in the song, maybe like a small snippet of it, and that's the kind of stuff that makes people want to listen to it again. So I think if you try something out like that, you can have a really cool track.
Yeah, sort of echo a lot what the guys have said. Enjoyed, I think, especially the new elements that come in on the second drop that Jules was saying. There's a couple of sort of nuances in there where your ears grabbed by them, and then you go back to the ARP and then you hear them again. That's nice. If there's one thing that I had to suggest that is probably putting on an A&R hat is the arrangement from releasing it. It's not an extended mix, it's probably a radio edit for streaming. And would that then benefit from maybe 16 bars at the start that's almost a section of the breakdown? So you've got an AB structure, and you could maybe lose the 16 bars off the other end, if that makes sense, just to sort of introduce the track in a bit more of a gentle and sort of melodic flashing, because at the minute it's sort of like bang, kick, drums, bass, everything, and then into the breakdown. Just give it a little bit more of a story. But yeah, other than that, yeah, really enjoyed it. Good work.
Cool. We got one. Thanks, Garlic, for the $20 and requiring no feedback. Really appreciate the support. So yeah, we got another 4 tracks, but you said you needed to go. So that's fine. I don't mind finishing these last 4 off on my own if you need to go now. Or if Greg wants to stick around.
No, we could do 1 or 2 more. Yeah.
You want to do another 2? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Let's do it. I saw a question coming in though from Dublin. Let's answer that quickly. So he's asking, great stream so far. My question is, how quickly do you realize an idea loop can be turned into a full track? When it comes to myself, I usually I just make, when I'm in an idea mode, I just make as many ideas as I can, and then put in a loop. And most of the time, as quickly as possible, I try to turn a loop into into like a little breakdown and a drop. So I usually start on a drop sort of part. That's how I usually go to. And if that sounds cool enough, then I try to make a break before, like, or a build up. And that build up and drop gives me an idea of, sometimes I'm really in the flow and I actually finish a track, but that rarely happens. Usually I bounce that idea to a folder. So I have like a big folder with all like ideas and bounces of my projects. So I have like a little build up and a drop, and then I just let it sit for a couple days, come back to it, and then I just go to the folder with ideas. And I figure like, okay, I just picked the best ideas that I want to finish. And yeah, there's a bunch of ideas that just stay in the folder, and because they're not good enough, because there's always better ideas filling up, and then it automatically sort of filters itself. So let's say I've been producing for 1 or 2 days and just making some ideas. These ideas, they take like half an hour or an hour to make, and then I just make the break and the drop. I bounce them all to a folder, and I have 10 ideas, for example. Then 2 days later, I check the folder, check the tracks, and maybe the first 2 songs are the best, and I finish one of those songs, and the ones that are on the bottom, they just never get finished or whatever. And then I might listen to it again and again or another time, but they never stick out enough to finish. So then you don't even have to decide to not finish it, because you're just not gonna finish it because you don't have the time to anyway. So that's kind of my filtering process for good and bad ideas.
Cool. Anything to add, Greg?
My earbuds are about to die, by the way. So just
Oh,
so
they
you know.
okay.
No, I think everyone's a bit different with that, aren't they? Me personally, I tend to build an idea, and if I get stuck and I've just stopped in the flow of that idea, for me that's normally enough to say, right, this isn't working, if I can't visualize where it's going. But I'll never delete it. I'll probably put it to one side, and I might come back to it in a week's time, a year's time, or something. Just if I'm I've got a day where I haven't got any tracks that are ready, that I'm waiting to be finished, I might just pop in and load up some old projects and see if I can build them. But yeah, for me, it just tends to be as soon as I slip out of that flow state, if you like, that's when I might question if it's the right idea or not.
Yeah, you know how it is with me. I just pretty much write entire songs every week on live stream, and the ones that I want to listen to again and again are the ones that get finished and released. It's pretty much my process. I don't ever write loops and then come back to loops. It's like, if I write an idea, I always finish like an entire song and then decide like a few days later whether or not it's worth actually like polishing it and then releasing it. I guess everybody has a different process, and whatever works for you works for you.
Yeah, I guess that's sort of similar. But you finish the song right away, which is actually the best way if you have the time for it. Because then you there's no way to get stuck in the loop and ditch projects, which is a big issue for producers. Try to get out of that loop as quickly as possible.
For me, what happens if I write a loop is like I lose. So when I initially come up with an idea for a track, like there's part of me that sees like potential in it, and that potential like only sticks around for a few hours. If I come back to it, I just can't see the potential anymore. Like I lose the vision for the track, and that's why I feel like I need to just sit down and finish a track in 3 hours, and then potentially work on it for weeks and months afterwards if it's good enough.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, cool. This one is Julian Schwartz, an older track from him. Let's check it out. I think that clap that's just coming is too loud. I'm gonna skip through here. I'm just gonna stop it here quickly because like up until now I haven't had like any moments where I'm like I want to jump in and comment, but right now I do, because when that kick comes back in there's just like no impact and it just feels like the energy just hasn't changed. It's like the energy is the same and then suddenly there's just a kick drum. There's no real difference. And I think it just comes from there's a lack of like dynamics in the like mid and upper ranges. Like I feel like things need to like drop out or new things need to come in. It's hard to say exactly how to fix it without sitting there and trying to tweak stuff myself, but just feel like there's no real change in energy into this drop.
Can you play it before the drop again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear what it is. He needs to low cut his bass.
Yeah, the bass is just
the thing is you need to look when you're checking the subwoofer of a speaker with this song. Normally like the sub moves a lot, right? The speaker goes in and out, it pumps the air. And if you keep too many low frequencies, it just keeps on pumping and it doesn't get time to reset. So if you want to have a high impact on your drops or kicks or whatever, you need to make sure that the speaker gets enough air to reset itself. So basically what you want to have your speaker be completely flat just before your drop hits, because then it has the most impact when it starts pumping again. And if you think about that concept, it makes total sense to just low cut most of the elements before an actual drop, but especially the bass, but also like minor elements, you need to low cut that stuff. And yeah, there's an easy fix that if you want to take the shortcut, there's this plugin from Data Life. They have, what is it, the Exciter tool, whatever it's called. It basically does all that for you. You can just
Endless
put that on your
Smile,
master
is
and
it?
you can turn up. Yeah, the Endless Smile, exactly.
Yeah.
But basically what the Endless Smile does, it's like a one knob VST, but it adds like a reverb and it low cuts everything. and this is exactly what it does. It gives your speaker air to breathe, and it makes everything sound bigger and wider. And if something becomes wider and then all of a sudden cuts back to the middle, it has more impact. And I think that's what's missing in this drop here.
Yeah. And another thing is what I've noticed a lot in like more modern melodic house is that this like trend of having just kick and melodic elements with no like other hi-hats or percussion is kind of like a bit more old school, I would say. Like all the tracks that are a bit more in our time are a lot more like groove focused, and so like usually the climax is dropping into like quite a busy drum section. Usually, I would say. Obviously, there's some exceptions. Like Lane 8 likes to have his tracks where he has just like kick and music happening. But in my opinion, I think at least I prefer it when. I mean, I don't really like that style. That's just a subjective thing, though. Nothing wrong with doing what you did. Okay, should we continue?
Yep.
Sorry, Marcus on Twitch is asking where to submit. Unfortunately, submissions are closed now because we've run out of time. So we're just finishing off the last few songs now. But yeah, if you head over to YouTube, you can find my Discord in all my descriptions. Okay, cool. I think we got the general idea. I will add that I do like the little pitch bends in the bass or the portamento that you have going on there. I think that adds like a nice flavor to the track. But overall, I feel like it's not giving me the vibes that make me want to come back for a second listen. But other than the stuff that I've said, I think it's it's an okay track. Like the sounds are nice. The ARP is not like super compelling or giving me the chills, like I said. But yeah, it's pretty much all I have to say.
Yeah, I want to second that. It sounds good. Like the quality is good, but it needs a bit more excitement, I think. And yeah, maybe this track doesn't work, but just keep on working, and maybe the next one will. And look into to adding some ear candy, so to switch it up a little bit, so it doesn't become too static. I feel with this track also it has really nice elements like the pitch bend in the bass that you mentioned. The melodic sounds sound really good. The rest is also fine, but it just needs a bit of excitement. It needs a bit of a change here and there to get listener hooked. And yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, seconded for me in terms of it's nice. Probably not something that would keep me coming back for more. From a technical standpoint, I think the kit could probably be shortened because you've got a long sustained sub in there and quite a big kick. So just need to check that balance. And like I said, the portamento on the bass is really nice. It just needs to be careful how aggressive you go with it, because at some point it goes too high especially in the earlier section of the track, and you lose some of the weight of the bass. So, or even look, if you wanted to do that, if you can sort of duplicate a layer that you'll only use for portamento, and then that you can get that effect whilst also maintaining the warmth and the body of the bass.
Cool.
That's it for me.
All right, next up is Claus. He says, Happy Friday. A nice big donation, $25. Let's just
All
check.
right, then that's gonna be the last one. Okay.
Cool. Claus. Right, that one's from last.
Oh yeah, obviously we have to give him the most amazing, awesome, best feedback ever.
I don't even know if he sent in a track. He's very generous. He's very kindly once sent me a very expensive bottle of whiskey and asked for nothing from me.
Interesting. So. Shall we give our address as well or not?
Yeah. I don't think he's actually sent in a track.
We'll drink it. We'll drink it together someday then, hopefully.
I don't think Claus actually sent a track in. If you did, I don't see it. So let me know if you did, and we'll jump back to it. But let's go on to the next one. So long. Garlic also donated $20, but asked for no feedback. He's just been meaning to support for a while. Thanks, Garlic. He's also a moderator in my Discord, and he's been very active in the community. And he's also quite a seasoned DJ. He's been DJing for decades, from what I gather, and he plays quite a lot. Amado has donated $10. Let's check it out. He writes a lot of music. He's the neighborhood, all-round good, friendly guy. So let's see.
Cool. Yeah, you decide which one's going to be last. So for me then.
Yeah. So we've only got 3 left. This is the third last one, and this is the last one for you guys. Oh yes, and Amado also donated a nice bottle of whiskey to me once.
Sweet. Is that something that you actually asked for, or did they figure that out themselves?
No, I think they saw me drinking whiskey and they were like, let's sort
cool.
you out.
That's cool.
Yeah. Let's go. So one thing I just want to point out quickly, if you look at these meters that are at the top of the screen, these things are great, especially if you look at the left thing that's called I think a spectrograph, like the heat map of the track. Sometimes tracks feel empty, but you can't quite figure out why they feel empty. And it's not really like what's happening at a specific time that makes it feel empty. It's more like if you look at a time span and why a track feels empty. So specifically, if you look at this like section here, you'll see how if you look at the kick range, so like the lower redness there, there's these big spaces between the kicks and the sub hits that are just empty. And that's like the perfect opportunity to just throw in some like toms and some low end stuff that can really just groove the track out. Because in those sections, it just feels empty to me. It doesn't really like help the track with those spaces. So I would fill those out with like just a few like sub hits percussion. It could just be anything really that's just low end. Yeah.
Good tip.
Cool. What makes you write good music is the development of your ear. What you need to really do is write a lot of music so that you develop your ear. That should be the main goal. The main goal shouldn't be, oh, I need plugins, I need to like learn the store inside out. The main goal should be writing a lot of music so you can develop your ear. Amazing. Yeah. So honestly, best song I've ever heard.
Nice smooth end.
Dodgy vocals on that track.
That must be the first time I've ever been sampled. Yeah. That was kind of funny. I think it's it's a good track. I have some like comments on the mix down to start with. Obviously the spaces between like sub hits was the main thing. Like it just feels really empty, but the sub hits themselves feel a little bit too loud. Sound choice wise, I think it's like the track is like constantly evolving and you kind of bringing in like new and interesting stuff. So it didn't feel like it got really boring, but the little ARP sound itself, the melody or like motif, doom, 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 like the vibe I'm getting from it is like edging towards like cheekiness rather than like emotion, like sad or uplifting or like deep. So I think, I don't know what sort of vibe you're going for, but I would maybe like try and rewrite the ARP and come up with a more compelling melodic idea. I know that's feedback that I give a lot, but I mean, it still stands. You know, you want to make something that feels like really compelling. But I think overall it evolves nicely and there's like lots of cool different sounds. And then, yeah, while the vocal is probably the greatest vocal in the world, I think the processing of it, there's just like too much reverb and it's quite really, I don't know, subby and muddy. like you need to kind of scoop out when you're processing a vocal, kind of just remove all the sub from it and just get like that mid-range out there and like boost like around 2K. That's how I would process this kind of a vocal. And then take all the S's and harsh like T sounds, the consonants, and like reduce the volume on those so that they don't like ring through the reverb like they are ringing through here. Main goal shouldn't be, oh, I need plugin. But I'm not sure if you're serious with this vocal, by the way. I wouldn't personally leave that in there. It's not like an Alan Watts vocal, like someone just said. I'm just like rambling about music production. It's not like some existential crisis that I'm having in that sentence. I'm just talking about music. But anyway, yeah, on to you guys.
Yeah, no, very true. I like the idea. It's chill, but like you said, I think I wasn't sure what to think of it, but I think you nailed it when you said it sounds a bit cheeky. Coming that it doesn't sound very serious. I'm not. I don't think this. The way I'm interpreted also with the vocal is that this song isn't very serious right now. So I'll just leave it at that. If that was your intention, then good job, you nailed it. But if you want to make it into a serious song, some of the elements are good, but I would make the lead sound a bit different to give it a bit of a different vibe. It sounds like I don't know, like an underwater SpongeBob world right now, and then having Jules producing the pineapple or something like that. That's a little bit how it sounds. So, but otherwise, like the mixing, everything sounds pretty good. I would look a little bit into the arrangement and introduce some elements and make it more interesting and stand out a little bit. And then, with the next song, I think you can come up with something nice for sure. The ideas are there, so.
Yeah, it's cool. Some cool ideas actually. Felt like someone who's trying to be pretty sort of Jules's vocal aside, even with the rest of the track, sort of trying to be quite creative and out of the box with ideas, which is cool. Felt like in sort of the main sections it is lacking a little bit of warmth, like it could just do with sort of like a pad sort of there in the low mids to mids just to give it a little bit of warmth. But other than that, yeah, it's interesting and the rest of just be repeating what the other guys have said. So yeah, it's a cool track.
Cool. Well, I guess awesome. You guys are off. Thanks so much for joining in.
It's been a long sit. It's about more than 2.5 hours.
Yeah, this is the longest feedback session I've ever done. Yeah. Usually I go for an hour and a half.
All right. Well, I gotta be first. A lot of good submissions for sure. I was actually surprised with the quality. So normally with feedback sessions, I'm not really sure what to expect, but there's definitely some potential. So if they keep producing, they're always welcome to send out their demos to us. Don't send your demo for feedback. Send your demo when it's completely finished. Use Jules for feedback and then send it to us. No, but in seriousness, the quality is good. So I see some potential with some of these guys for sure. And if they keep on working on their skills, there could be a release somewhere in the near future. And I really enjoyed doing these sessions. So maybe we'll do one again, or maybe we'll do one on the Sekora channel or something like that. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, I think it was a really nice change to have some other people giving opinions on music other than just me sitting here talking to myself. I enjoyed it. So thanks for joining in. Really appreciate it.
Very welcome. Yeah.
How many more have you got to go, Jules?
I've got two more.
Okay. I'll have a toilet break and then I'll hang around for the last two.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta go because we have a very important release today. So everyone that's still listening, go check it out. Blank Page, Double M. Sorry, that's the name, right? Double M.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out now on Sekora, so go check it out. Like shameless self promo here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I listened to it this morning.
I gotta do it, man. I really enjoyed it. Gotta do the promo. Cool. Then I'm off. Thanks for having me, Jules, and I'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Have a good weekend, mate.
Speak to you in a bit. Wes.
All right. Bye bye, everyone.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
So it is, isn't it? But
Okay, you want
2
to
minutes.
head off
Yeah,
and
be back
go
with
have
you,
your
mate.
toilet break. I'll get the next song up in the meantime. Okay. Let's pull up the next song. The next one is Rebel of Sleep. Where am I? I can't stop. What's up, Jules? It's me again. Today I want to submit a song that I finished already, but I'm still open to any feedback. Okay, cool. Rebel of Sleep. I usually enjoy his music, so looking forward to this one. Is that Nick in the chat? Nick as from Sekora. I tried to say your name in my head so many times, but I can never do it. Azevelivos. Avelezivos. Am I close? Okay, Greg's back. Let's do it. Yeah, I think this is like another case of the sub being like not dynamic enough. If you look again at this, where is it? I can't really get there with my cursor because of this stream layout, but at the top left, that heat map, if you look when we drop in, just watch the sub at the top left there. Like there's no decay in the sub, it's just this one thick red line, and you can feel it when you're listening to it. It doesn't feel like the sub is very dynamic.
Yeah, I think the whole low end's a bit overdone there as well. Sort of
Yeah.
wax you in the face.
Yeah.
Just kick needs to be toned down a bit. It was a really nice intro.
Yeah, I enjoyed the intro. So yeah, the solution I think would be to just bring down the sustain on your synth and have like a really long decay, so there's at least like a bit of a tail off on the sub. I think the ARP is like not, it's also not dynamic enough. There's not enough automation. It's kind of just sitting at the same, like the filter's just open the whole time. I would want some more, overall it's just basically this track just needs to be more dynamic and moving and flowing and like, yeah, that's what I'm feeling so far. Otherwise though, I think the songwriting is quite nice and the arrangement works. It's really just the dynamics of the track.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's some good creative ideas there. It's just sort of the execution of them. The stabs are quite loud and in your face. Like you say about the art, I think we've had that a lot today. Like lack of automation. It's such a big thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to keep that just to ARPs either. You can literally automate anything and everything. Variation is good, and sort of don't limit yourself. See what you can do with automation.
Yeah, a lot of the time when I listen to professional tracks, like I can't actually believe how much stuff is being automated and modulated. Like note lengths, filter cutoffs, ADSR, envelope automation, modulation, like then you have like delays and then like pulse width. Like there's just so much. It's endless what you can automate, and
it makes sense,
it's
right?
like
Because
it's like a cheat code to being lazy, basically taking an idea and just duplicating it through a track, and you can save it by just automating and automating and
Because
automating.
we always talk about keeping music interesting by adding new elements. But if you've already got the elements and you can just automate them to sound different, they're nine times out of 10 they're going to sound good when you automate them because they're already part of the track. So it's really a big thing.
Yeah. Cool. I think we get the point. Yeah, so I've pretty much said everything that I need to say about this track. Nice work.
Same.
Just work on the dynamics. Dynamics is like a very big topic. Modulate, automate the shit out of everything.
In a nutshell, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Nick, for your, I think, is that 50 Australian dollars? Really appreciate it, man. That's huge. Thank you.
That was Nick in
I
it.
think I got to buy dinner for Greg and Wes tonight.
Nick, go and give your money to Beatport, mate, not Jules.
Yeah. Okay, so the last track of the day. I don't know if Nick sent in a track, but we'll close today's session with your new tune. We'll show it to the world, to all 29 viewers.
Exclusive.
But let's first listen to Can't Music. Okay, I don't know how to say that. Where is he? Here it is. Last track.
Let's go. This
Okay.
slammed.
Yeah, it looks quite sausaged.
Falling to pieces. Don't let me go. The pain is flaking on the walls I know, and I can remember when you held me close. And now our love is broken and
Giving similar feedback to the last song. The sub is just like blasting me in the face the whole time.
Yeah,
It needs to be more
same.
dynamic. It needs some space. Like the way to make sub feel big is to give it some negative space. And like if you have a sustained sub, I'll always try and add like tom hits and stuff and have like just small gaps between hits so that you get to feel it disappear and come back. I like that piano line. That was quite nice. Say again?
I was going to say, it's a nice piano line. I think it would benefit from like a really nice piano VST.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit Nexusy at the moment.
Yeah, I guess so. Like one that I always use is what's it called? Noah Felt by Native
I use,
Instruments.
Alicia's Keys.
Oh, okay, yeah. I used to
Really
use
nice.
that. But this one is, what's his name? Niels Fromm's piano. And he sampled it using like, he basically takes like this felt material and he puts it onto the hammers of the strings and
It's nice
records
and
like all the
soft.
nuances, like the squeaks of the keys and all the hits and stuff. And it just creates this like really awesome piano sound.
Is that in contact?
Yeah, it's Contact. Yeah, the sub is just too in your face.
Yeah.
The high end of it too is just like bzzz in your face. Definitely low past that and turn it down.
It's something we haven't spoken about once today, but sometimes newer producers aren't aware of, is referencing for mix downs,
Yeah,
because you can fix a lot of mix issues just on the faders, just with volume control. So
Yeah.
pull in a pro track that you want to sound similar to, and make sure they're matched on their levels on the VU meter.
Yeah, I've spoken about that a few times on my streams
You have,
and
yeah.
shown how, like, I don't know what you do, but I have like this technique where I'll just take a random MP3 here quickly. Whatever. Take this thing. Let's say this is your reference track. I just turn that off and then right click solo, edit key map, and then hit the key under my escape key. And it's mapped to that. And then I can play this and then just switch between them super easy. And that's how I reference. And then you can set like your sub and your hats and everything at the perfect level.
Yeah, I'm in FL, so I just do it with the mouse.
Oh, you're in
switch
FL?
between the two, yeah.
Why?
But,
I assumed your door. I'm sorry if I offended you.
did you? Yeah, I'm offended. And the other thing I found myself doing sort of earlier on, not so much nowadays, is referencing, but also with an EQ on, so you can isolate the low frequencies. You could just do sort of 200 hertz down, or even 100 hertz down, and try and match the frequencies between the two.
Yeah, and you can also get a good feel for how like the sub on a professional track feels.
Yeah.
Like you can feel all the individual hits. You can feel the kick punching. You can feel a sub coming in. You can feel the separation between them.
Quite a crucial thing when referencing low end as well that I picked up from bass clef tutorials is if you're really targeting low end, make sure that the track you're referencing is in a similar key or ideally the same key.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to be moving frequencies on your EQ spectrum to try and match a track that has completely opposite frequencies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a few semitones can feel like a lot heavier or like bassier than if you go a few semitones up, can feel like a bit thinner, but there's not necessarily anything you could fix other than to just transpose it down. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so this is like, I'm hearing all this mud. And that's like the stuff you want to get rid of. It's not doing anything for the track, so just bring it down a bit. Like, how much better does that sound? Yeah, I think the arrangement works quite nicely here. Like the flow of energy feels good. It's really just mixing things in this track for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. There's quite a few sort of nice creative ideas in there, but the arrangement works, and yeah, the main thing that's the sort of overwhelming thing is just the mixing side of things, but that just comes with practice.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, that was the last track. Thanks, guys, for joining. That was quite a long session today. My wife and kids have gone away for the weekend, so I've got nothing to do later on this evening. So I'm probably going to prepare like a little DJ set, grab a drink, and just play some tunes. I'm thinking of maybe doing like a Bound to Divide unreleased tracks, because I have a bunch of unreleased stuff I think I could play out. Maybe I'll then also throw some non-Bound to Divide stuff in afterwards. So if you want to come and hang out afterwards and just enjoy some music on a Friday evening, that's cool. But thanks so much, Greg, for joining. Really enjoyed that.
Thanks for having us. It was fun. First stream I've done, so we've got some nice submissions in from you guys.
Yeah, there was definitely a few that I really enjoyed. My Spotify's just crashed. Let me just open it again. So we're gonna close with Blank Page and Dublin. We'll listen to the radio mix, the radio edit. I enjoyed this track. I listened to it this morning. But yeah, it's out now in Sekora, so go and support it. And show some love for Greg helping out today.
Thanks
Let's check it out,
guys. Thanks for listening.
Cool.
When you see me somewhere
That thing was so squeaky. Yeah, so there's a few more mixes there if you want to go and check them out. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Cool tune, man. Hope you have a
Cheers,
good
man.
weekend. Have you got anything planned?
Unfortunately, yes. Working tomorrow and tonight. I'm going over to a flat that I move into in 2 weeks' time to try and decorate it because me and my girlfriend are being kicked out of our flat. So
Ah,
fun weekend ahead.
love decorating.
Yeah.
Not.
So you'll be having more fun on the decks with a beer or a whiskey,
Yeah.
no doubt.
All right. Cool, man. Thanks for joining.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody, for watching and donating. It was a really enjoyable stream. And I'll see you guys a bit later for some